This episode is very much everybody vying for power, but also it's very much about that happening through grief.
Much of episode 5 revolves around how Rhaenys' death is resonating across all of the different characters, and no one as much as it lands with her husband, Corlys. This poor guy, over the course of these 2 seasons, has slowly had every human connection stripped away from him one by one.
He is sitting in the Hall of Nine, but it means nothing to him anymore because she's gone. And all of this stuff, who cares?
Steve is an incredible actor. He has such deep soul to all of his performances. I had no clue that he was going to have this tear, like this silent tear roll down his face. So it was incredibly moving to see it.
Our largest dragon has been killed. Duskendale and Rook's Rest are gone.
I think everybody's reeling. I mean, Rhaenyra not the least of which. And you hear a lot of this backbiting and bickering going on at the table because everybody is under a tremendous amount of stress. They don't know how to react. But Rhaenyra finds herself at sea. I mean, that was her last great female advisor.
And that's also when Rhaenyra sees this huge power vacuum and knows she's got to do something.
Queen Rhaenyra wishes to name you Hand.
Even the death of my wife does not content her.
She's playing the role of the great politician here. The next best thing next to having Daemon back is one of the most respected men in Westeros, and that's the Sea Snake. And she doesn't exploit Rhaenys' death to do it. She knows that the man is there looking for purpose, probably looking for a bit of vengeance, and she probably takes advantage of that in the moment to try to get him back on side.
The path I walk has never been trod.
What you cannot do, let others do for you. There is more than one way to fight a war.
I think Mysaria's power increases in Rhaenys' absence because I think Rhaenyra is desperate in looking for that sympathetic female voice in her life. Mysaria is offering another way, which is, I understand the will of the people, and we can manipulate that and play that to your advantage.
An element of what we're watching is propaganda war, how to win the hearts of the people. And that's all learning that she receives from Mysaria.
I don't think this is something that Rhaenyra had thought of or considered until Mysaria brought it to the fore. And it's a bit of a modern concept, this idea of the, quote-unquote power of the people.
I have an errand for the Lady Mysaria.
In real history, smart and sometimes cunning and ruthless medieval sovereigns did use people and their will to their advantage.
Behold! The traitor dragon Meleys!
It is. Look, they've killed a dragon.
Mark my words, this is a black omen.
I think this is very Cole.
His expectations are so high. His expectations are for people to honor him and put him up on a pedestal.
If you look like you've won and you carry yourselves like you've won, and the public don't know what's really happened, then that's what everyone's going to believe.
But what happens is so different.
Don't they realize we won the battle?
Strange victory, if it was one.
The calculation that he doesn't make is how it will land on the small folk. I mean, Meleys is a beloved dragon that probably flew over that city hundreds of times and is seen as one of these symbols of the unshakableness, of the invincibility of the Targaryens.
I thought the dragons was gods.
As soon as people can see you can kill dragons, well, then anybody can do it. And does that mean that these people that we've always thought of as being gods because of their ability to ride dragons is actually all a bit of a mirage?
This is at best a terrible omen, and at worst a harbinger of the things to come.
The king, Sir Criston, what befell him?
His Grace fought valiantly.
And Aemond? What was his part in this?
I could not say.
The dramatic tension that looms over the episode is, what is the state of Aegon, and did he survive the end of episode 4? And will he survive through the end of this episode? And I think that's what's kind of looming over all these characters, that big question, to show the cost of letting your sovereign get on his dragon and ride into battle.
Someone will have to rule in his stead.
It's everything he ever wanted. With great power comes great responsibility, and he's got to be seen as someone who knows how to wield it.
I agree, Your Grace. It must be Prince Aemond.
I mean, this is a massive power shift all of a sudden at the Green Council, as dramatized by the meeting where Aemond takes power in this very kind of banal way, where he just stands up from the foot of the table, takes his ball, moves over to the king's seat and puts it down and sits, and then starts doling out orders while everybody, including Alicent, especially Alicent, are reeling from the decision. And you feel the shift in that way and how different the Red Keep is going to be with Aemond in charge versus the way it was with Aegon.
Someone cut down the fucking rat catchers.
Our terms are simple, Lord Bracken. Renounce the false King Aegon as a usurper. Bend the knee to me, or your house burns.
Daemon approaches life always trying to hammer that square peg into the round hole, and he's just trying to force his will upon this place. I love the image of him in his full like dragon battle armor sitting on the rock and not understanding what's happened and saying,
I did not think they would be so eager to die.
And the Riverlands is just this unwranglable place to him. He's brought his values and sort of Targaryen dragon lord values into a place that is rich with the old gods and these old ways. These people just don't respect the dragon lords the way Daemon is hoping or used to.
Seer must begin here with a lesson in etiquette. On the page, I thought, yeah, this is the right territory. This is where we should be. This is where his head's at. It's how mental his kind of state is.
Is Daemon trying to usurp Rhaenyra? It's like unfair that he wasn't given the crown, that he isn't listened to, that he doesn't have that power.
We just don't know what he's going to do or ultimately how he's going to turn. And while I don't think that anybody could ever be asked to believe that he would turn against Rhaenyra and like go to war against her, I think we could all believe that maybe Daemon would just go and claim the throne for himself and then see what happens.
What would you call the husband of the queen?
Well, the king.
There it is then.
Consort.
That last bit seems unnecessary, don't you think?